Good morning and thanks for joining us on Sunrise. I'm Emily Scarlett and for Cammie Raisler.
And I'm Leland Pender. Let's get your forecast first today. Tim Miller is standing by in the First Alert Weather Center. And Tim, so far so good. Not a whole lot to track on that radar.
Yeah, it's all quiet for now, which is the way we like it.
Tim, thank you. Continuing coverage now, a former Gamecocks basketball star and former Richland County deputy will be in court today on a criminal sexual conduct charge. Jamel Bradley is accused of sexually assaulting a 17-year-old student at Spring Valley High School last year. Bradley was working as a school resource officer at the time. Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott says the assault did not happen at the school, but in Bradley's patrol car. Sheriff Lott says they learned of the allegations against Bradley last Friday. However, Bradley was removed from Spring Valley High in December of last year after a federal lawsuit was filed against Bradley, the Sheriff's Department, and the Richland 2 School District. That lawsuit details separate sexual allegations involving Bradley and another student. Sheriff Lott says the cases make him, quote, sick to his stomach, and apologized to the victims' families.
I'm sorry that we had someone that I call a sexual predator. And I've said in other press conferences when we've locked these people up that they're monsters. And unfortunately, we had a monster that worked among us.
Sheriff Lott says Bradley was fired in October of this year for interfering with an internal investigation separate from this case. He also says the investigation is still active and is asking any other victims to come forward. Leaders in Kershaw County are working to prevent suicides as they say the county has seen a rise in suicides this year.
That's right. Officials say more than 20 people have taken their own lives, which is higher than the past few years. Yesterday, about a dozen people in Kershaw County wrapped up a two-day workshop aimed at preventing suicide. It's called Applied Suicide Intervention Skills Training, or ASSIST, and it's offered through the Department of Mental Health. It teaches people to recognize when someone may have thoughts of suicide and how to work with them to create a plan that will support their immediate safety.
Practicing it when you're not in crisis helps ease the comfort level. It also broadens the education of our communities to let them know what to look for, what they should be concerned about.
The ASSIST workshop is free and anyone over the age of 16 can participate. For more information on this workshop, you can find it in the story at WIS-TV.com. The Federal Communications Commission is working on a new way to help people who may be suffering from a mental health crisis. The FCC is proposing a 3-digit number for a suicide prevention and mental health crisis hotline. The agency says suicide rates are at historic levels and the most troubling numbers are seen among young people. More than 1 in 10 young adults report having suicidal thoughts, a 47% increase over the last decade.
But we want to let them know that you are not alone, that there is somebody who can help. There are many training centers around the country where trained counselors can provide assistance, and 988 could be a way of matching people who need help with the people who can provide it. And that's exactly what the FCC is looking to do in the time to come.
Well, the FCC says the next step is to get public input about this proposed hotline. There is no time frame for when 988 could become active, but the FCC says it wants to move forward as quickly as possible.
Happening today, celebrating Midland's history. There will be a historical marker unveiling this afternoon in honor of the Dr. Cyril Spann Medical Building in Columbia. The neighborhood just blocks away from Benedict College is an area filled with historic significance. The marker being unveiled today will join 2 other historical markers just feet away. The latest one commemorates Dr. Cyril Spann, a native of Chester and graduate of Benedict College, who became the first Black surgeon in the state, working in both segregated and desegregated hospitals. Several prominent African-American doctors went on to get their start and continued to work in what is now the Dr. Spann Medical Building through 1995.
It's really an opportunity to make sure that we tell that full history not only of this community, but of the historical path that medical practices took, especially as we're talking a lot today about access to health care and making sure African Americans and other minorities have that. We want to look at the history of people who tried to provide that medical care and what that was like.
In May, the Dr. Span Medical Building was added to the National Register of Historic Places and is now in the process of being restored. Today's historical marker unveiling begins at 12:30 this afternoon on Hampton Street. The ceremony will also include a dedication of the Tree of Peace and Resistance. More on that in the next half hour. In our Decision 2020 coverage, 10 of the top Democrats running for president gathered in Georgia last night for the 5th debate.
As NBC's Jay Gray reports, this debate went at a much faster pace and touched on a wider range of issues.
Hello and welcome. 10 candidates, 2 hours. The early discussion dominated.
Well, first of all, we have a criminal living in the White House.
By Wednesday's explosive testimony from Ambassador Gordon Sondland during impeachment proceedings.
Sadly, we have a president who is not only a pathological liar, he is likely the most corrupt president in the modern history of America.
As the debate continues, the questions are rapid fire.
That what was once called climate change is now a climate crisis.
And diverse.
You describe your campaign, including your plans for Medicare for All, as a political revolution.
There are the debate staples, health care, education, and immigration, but the forum also branches out to include issues of inclusion and equality.
While I do not have the experience of ever having been discriminated against because of the color of my skin, I do have the experience of sometimes feeling like a stranger in my own country.
The frontrunners controlling much of the conversation, while those at the end of the stage.
When Donald Trump was elected, not even sworn in, buddied up to Steve Bannon.
Senator Harris is doing is unfortunately continuing to traffic in lies.
Are looking to make an impact with less than 11 weeks now before the first in the nation Iowa caucus. Jay Gray, NBC News, Atlanta.
And the Democratic field actually continues to grow, with former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg hinting at a run and former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick joining the race just last week. Patrick became Massachusetts' first African-American governor and served from 2007 to 2015. He was in South Carolina yesterday, first in Orangeburg, visiting with student leaders from Claflin University and SC State. He touched on issues that students at historically black colleges and universities are facing. Deval also traveled to Charleston, speaking with voters there and highlighting his work in business and as a civil rights lawyer. Well, meanwhile, in Washington, today is the final day of public hearings this week in the impeachment inquiry. We'll take a look at who's testifying ahead in the next half hour of Sunrise. Well, with one phone call, you can help a family in need this holiday season.
Volunteers are here and waiting to take your call for our Families Helping Families initiative. What you need to know to adopt ahead.
North Carolina Animal Shelter is using facial recognition software to help reunite lost pets with their owners. The tool is called Finding Rover, and every dog and cat that comes into the Pitt County Animal Shelter will be registered on this program. Owners can also register their animals at home online. The service will match lost dogs and cats to their pictures using facial recognition. Owners will be able to mark their dogs as lost, and the shelter or neighbors who find strays will be able to use it to reconnect the pet to its owner once registered. The pet will remain in the system, so if they are lost again, they can be found pretty quickly. The website and app also allows all of the adoptable pets in the shelter to be seen.
I know pet owners will like that because, like they said, it's about knowing where they are right away. You may not be able to get to them, but at least you've got that relief of, okay, they're at the shelter or wherever they are. You know you'll get them later that day.
I'm kind of shocked that's just now becoming a thing, actually, because there are people, have been doing that for a while for different reasons. So, all right, well, good for the kids and cats.
Yay. Well, a heartwarming moment at a San Diego elementary school is going viral. This is Mila explaining what she's thankful for at her school. Her dad, James Neff, is a petty officer in the Navy who's been deployed for the past 7 months. Well, what Mila didn't know was that her dad was at school the whole time, waiting to surprise her just in time for her birthday. As you can see, father and daughter were just thrilled to be reunited. Oh, the emotions just looking at that. Wow.
So sad and so happy all at the same time.
Yeah, I can never tire of looking at those. I can watch those things hours on end.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
They're very powerful, very emotional moments.
Yeah. And as soon as they show it, I start breaking up. So stop showing those.
Tim can't handle it. He's very fragile.
Well, you may have an excuse this morning, the cold weather making your eyes tear up, right?
You always say, you can always tell what the weather is, right, when Emily's out. Because Emily dresses, you don't, oh, Emily's wearing that? Okay, I know what to wear.
Got my hat on.
That's what's great having you in the studio this morning.
Yes.
We love you. All right, so yeah, it's chilly out this morning. We're in the 30s.
Ooh, burr.
I know, so bundle up outside. So don't go by what Emily's wearing now because she's in the studio, right? So that's not going to fly. But look at this beautiful view.
All right, here it is, our Families Helping Families phone bank. And as you can see, our volunteers are needing some phone calls at this hour. Don't leave them hanging. Dial that number 803-758-1020 to help out with our Families Helping Families initiative. Joining us now, Nicole Smith, one of the volunteers here today with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Thanks so much for being here, volunteering your time. You all are putting in the work. You'll be here all day. How long will the phone bank be available?
We will be here all day until 7:30.
All right, so you've got plenty of time to make those calls. Of course, we've got a goal of about 3,500 families that we're wanting to help this year. Kind of explain what a big help just adopting one family can be to our Midlands families.
It's a tremendous help, and what a lot of people don't realize is that these families are looking for basic things, bath wash, lotion, little kids who want just small toys. And then we also have elderly and disabled adults that are looking for some help as well.
Absolutely, and it may sound a little overwhelming. You know, we're telling people you need to adopt an entire family, but you all really break it down and tell them exactly what the families have told you they're needing, right?
That's right, and we have families from up to about 8 people. We've got small families, a single mom with 2 or 3 kids. We've, like I said, single adults with disabilities and some senior citizens as well.
And that's something to keep in mind also. Sometimes these are people that are going through hardships, maybe have lost a job or disabled, as you mentioned, are just not able to get that holiday season going maybe as they have been in the past. So you can step in to help. We want to give that number to you one last time, 803-758-1020. And you've got until 7:30 this evening to call and adopt a family and make a huge difference in someone's life this holiday season. Nicole, thank you so much for your time this morning. We are back right after this.